Well, Jill Davis is the 2009 Teacher of the Year in Early Childhood Education. The Tulsa teacher at Kendall Whittier was presented the award with a $1,000 check for her innovative teachings at this year's Early Childhood Association of Oklahoma meeting.
I have the best students in my class, and they're going to be so happy to see me on Monday because I'm going to be in such a good mood now.
Oklahoma Horizon was also honored at this year's meeting for our coverage of early childhood issues. You are the people. You are the people that started it all off, that make success stories out of what would be just statistics. So congratulations to each of you too. Well, in the past decade, the cost of daycare has increased by about 1/3, and quality providers are still difficult to find, especially in rural areas. Lana Dry runs a home daycare in Altus, Oklahoma, and says it's often hard to get away for continued training.
It's hard to get because for me, I open about 7 o'clock in the morning and I stay open until late at night. So there's, no possibility of me going to college or, going to classes if they have classes. So it's very hard for me because I enjoy my work. So that's why I go to conferences in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa.
Which is why this summer, Oklahoma held its very first economic summit on early childhood investment, a one-day meeting that spawned a series of regional economic summits scheduled for across our state. Joining me now to tell us more is Pat Potts, one of the event's organizers and head of the Potts Family Foundation. Now, all the people we just have seen in our show, we got to record at this summer's meeting, but these are going to go on and start again in this fall?
That's correct. We have 3 mini summits that are scheduled this fall. The first one is going to be in Lawton on the 30th of October, and then the next one in Tahlequah in November, the 3rd and 4th, and the third one in Weatherford on the 18th of November. And then following that, we will also have mini summits in Durant and in Stillwater.
Are there different challenges when it comes to daycare and childcare in rural areas versus urban areas?
Well, I kind of think of it as a chicken or egg kind of thing. And it's sort of, if the population isn't large enough that it feels like it can support a child care center and make it good business, it may not be there. And that is the case in much of western Oklahoma. The other piece is if you don't have child care so that more people can work, you may not have the employees that a business is looking for to consider coming to your community. So I think it's about 2/3 of women, of mothers, have gone to work by the time their child is 1 year old. And in our country, how much change we have already.
We work a lot of hours. We work a lot of hours.
Yes, probably the most of any industrialized nation in the world. So that means demand. If you want the women and the men out there working, there has to be quality child care, and the quality part is really important.
And I want to talk a little bit more about that early childhood education because, at the summit this summer, we saw scientific evidence of what a child's brain looks like.
And I think that piece is life-changing. When you see a picture of a brain of a child that has been neglected or abused, and a picture of the brain of a child that has been nurtured and stimulated, the difference is huge dark spots in the brain of the child that has missed out on what it needs. And 85% of the brain is developed those first 2 years. So if a child doesn't get that right kind of stimulation and nurture, their chance of becoming productive citizens later is greatly diminished.
Yes, and there's more research in that if a child has problems reading in first grade, by 4th grade.
Yeah, if you have 50 students that start school not reading, by the 4th grade, all but I think it was about 44 of those students will still have trouble because they're pulling from behind all the time and the other students are ahead of them and they're feeling less and less happy about school. And those are usually pretty good predictors of dropouts from schools later on. If by the 4th grade they're not reading well, they're going to continue to have more and more trouble.
And these regional meetings, they're not just for parents.
That's correct. We hope to draw business leaders from the surrounding areas of these communities that are where the mini summits are being held, as well as community leaders and legislators, because if we're going to change our emphasis in our state to more prevention, we have to focus more on changing the way we are dealing with our human capital in our state.
Yeah, well, certainly a very important issue, both economically and socially for our state. Pat, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.